All right, everybody, welcome back to Birds and Blues Sports. See, look, I'm getting there.
Call yourself.
I caught myself. Listen, when you say the one thing every single time for 3 years, it's tough to break the cycle. Tough to break the cycle.
Doing great.
But we are here. We are halfway through the season. We are halfway through the season. It is flying by. It is Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween for the people watching on YouTube. We got Adam West over here, Mr. Batman. I am dressed as a stressed late 20s college student, as you could tell. And we have a firefighter, obviously, right here.
Doing my best Will Levis impersonation right now.
It's just us three this evening. No Danimal tonight, which I'm kind of upset about. I really wanted to discuss the Jets-Giants atrocity that we had all watched.
Danimal, I got your back on this.
On this, we're going to start off, actually, because today was the NFL trade deadline. So we're going to go over all the major trades that happened today and possibly discuss the trades that should have happened or didn't happen. So I should have had this prepared, but let me get the trade tracker up here of all the.
I mean, we can start with the Commanders. That's while you do that. Me and Pete can hit this with
okay.
The Sweat and the Young trade. I mean,
the fire sale started.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to the Bears, and I mean, I don't even want to talk about the 49ers because that defense is just it's like a super team in the NBA. Like that's why the NBA banned pretty much by rule changing super teams, because it's crazy to think that you now have Nick Bosa and Chase Young coming off the edges in that defense. That is terrifying.
For a third.
It's highway of robbery. Like in the old Wild West, you didn't see robberies like that happen. It's insane. And Montez Sweat going to the Bears, I think that's an awesome move by the Bears. They really didn't give up much either, and that defense just got way better by a small addition too. So, I don't know what Washington's doing. I mean, your two key pieces of defense you just gave away. So, what's the plan? Like,
New ownership wants their guys in there.
Yeah, I mean, but talk about a clean slate. Like these guys were still young, like foundation builders, and now you gave away the foundation. So that's a little.
But you got to think, were they going to stick around? Probably not.
Were they both on contract? I think Chase Young was coming up on a contract.
Chase Young's on a contract year.
They were both on contract. They were both on contract years. They weren't going to.
You're going to lose them anyway. So I think Commanders made the only move that was right, was to get something in return for them. And I mean, the 49ers, let's just pairing up Chase Young with Bosa is just the rich get richer. And I mean, they're taking full advantage of Brock Purdy being on a low dollar contract right now, because they are stacking up while they can, and the window is wide open for them. So, I mean, this move makes 100%. I mean, they're in a win a ship right now mode. I mean, even if Chase Young doesn't sign an extension with them after this season, they 100% have cemented themselves as a top team in the NFC.
But also at the same time, not to jump ahead, but they're on a 3-game losing streak right now. Let's talk about that. The Niners are on a 3-game losing streak, and I don't think the defense was the problem. So if you're in a win now mode, what did you really lock up?
They're trying to have their defense force more turnovers. Their defense has been good, but they haven't really been forcing turnovers the last couple of weeks. The 49ers just in general have not played well over the last 3 weeks. Not having Debo is a big deal. Trent Williams has played hurt. CMC is playing hurt, but he doesn't look like he's playing hurt. It's just every team kind of goes through these struggles, and they're a really good team. Purdy isn't an elite quarterback, so that's why, he can't overcome a lot of the deficiencies that come with injuries. So they're like, you know what, let's just continue to stack the defense. Let's make sure that no one can fucking run on us or throw on us or anything like that. So
just make life a nightmare for an opposing offense trying to do anything. So even while your offense may be struggling a little bit, your defense is just wrecking lives. So this move by the 49ers was the type of move that I think every one of we would want to see in any one of our teams trying to make a push or showing your fan base that, hey, even though we're struggling a little bit, we're trying to make plays and we're trying to win games. So this is just, you gotta love John Lynch in the front office there in the 49ers for making that move. I was a little surprised by Chicago going after Montez Sweat, but I mean, what more can you ask for from a team trying to say, hey, we're trying to contend here, so we're going out. And then, I mean, another trade that I guess we're going to get to, the Vikings after losing Captain Kirk.
I got the list ready whenever you guys.
Okay, go for it.
So the full list of the trades that happened this week for the trade deadline. We already talked about the two Commanders trades, but the Giants traded, which was the first domino to fall. They traded defensive lineman Leonard Williams to the Seahawks for a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. The Vikings traded guard Ezra Cleveland to the Jaguars for a 6th-round pick. Cardinals traded Josh Dobbs and a 7th to the Vikings for a 6th. The Browns traded wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones to the Lions for a 6th. And the Bills also made a trade. They traded a 3rd-round pick to the Packers for cornerback Rasul Douglas and a 5th-round pick. So those were all the trades that happened today. Obviously, we just talked about the Niners being big winners. I guess we could consider Washington losers because they have to sell and they gave away 2 really good players, but they got decent draft capital back. So I guess we could call them winners because they're selling and that's what you do when you sell. Minnesota getting Dobbs for a 6th-round pick is kind of crazy.
Yeah, especially when you hear the rumors about Jameson going there, and it's like, I think everybody was kind of rooting for that. I think everybody wants to see, him go there, but I'm curious to see why that didn't go through. I can't wait for the fallout to come and see why that trade didn't happen. And
Dobbs is probably better.
I mean, I think it's easy. I think that's an eye test, right? I think it's because he's playing right now. He's starting, and he played fairly well in the Arizona system.
It's so funny. My best friend Dylan is a diehard Vikings fan. And we were talking about it a little bit today. He's like, why Dobbs? I was like, dude, he's got 1,500 yards, 8 touchdown passes, 5 picks, and is 19th in QBR right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Dobbs has played well.
In the actual, like, in the hot, play the hot hand kind of thing. Like, the dude's been playing, and back to where we always beat down the system of, preseason and playing football. Like, yeah, Josh Dobbs has been playing football and can step in there, learn the system, and then go. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to play out. I mean, he's just a placeholder for the rest of the year. The Vikings aren't going anywhere, so it's like, to the pit of misery you go, dilly. But it's, what? Maybe you actually had a future with Jameson. I don't see a future with Dobbs as quarterback there, and they're not even. He's not even going to start this week. They're going to start the rookie out of BYU.
Yeah, they're gonna see what they have him. He's really their starter. Dobbs is there to be a veteran presence and to back him up in case something happens. I think they really want to see what they have in Hall. Because even when the trade was made, they're like, nope, Hall is our starter. So we'll see how he does. I mean, the Vikings then traded away one of their linemen because he was in a contract year and they weren't going to pay him, so they got whatever they could out of him. For the Jaguars. So, I mean, that was all right, I guess. But the team that got the most draft capital off of one player was the G-Men. Giants traded away Leonard Williams, who turned 30 years old and was due for another payday. They weren't going to re-sign him, so they took advantage of the Seahawks, who are in first place in the NFC West. So they got a 2nd and a 5th from Leonard Williams, who has always been a solid player, but has always been a little bit overrated. He's been on Dan's team. He's been on my team. He was pivotal for us last year during the playoff run and the playoff win. Hate to see him go, but we were never going to re-sign him. Got to keep the cap healthy. So this move saves them about $33 million next year. So, and they got a bunch of draft capital. So big time trade for Joe Shane.
Yeah, this was big return. I like getting second rounders. I think you find more value in the second round than you do first rounders. First rounders are either usually boom or bust. I think you find real quality in the second and third round. So good for that. And yeah, getting, when you look at it, Chase Young went for a third. Leonard Williams, who is not as good of a player as Chase Young is, arguably, you got a second, and it's a great haul.
Yeah, I was very, very surprised by the haul that they got. So, the Seahawks GM Schneider is notorious for overpaying for players. That's like his thing. He gave up 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams.
Yeah, and look how well that turned out. So
yeah, exactly. But any other trades that you guys kind of want to talk about that stood out to you? Anything like that?
I think I'm interested about the Lions getting DPJ. That's a weird move. The Lions have a pretty decent receiver core, and now you add this 5th receiver to this.
I don't think Jameson Williams seems like he is not gonna be
bust.
Yeah, he's not working out for them, and I think the writing's on the wall for him. And DPJ, he's played pretty solid for the Browns. So
he's consistent.
Yeah, it's not a flashy move by any means, but I think that's more of an indication of how the Lions feel about Jameson Williams with them going out and getting DPJ. Because after watching Jameson Williams last night, he really leaves a lot to wish for. He's not a polished product, and he's not what they thought he was.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, that was a trade deadline. The last 2 years, trade deadlines have been pretty active. The NFL is pretty much becoming like an arms race lately. But the couple teams that I was surprised that didn't make a move, the Jets didn't make a move, and the Cowboys didn't make a move. And the Raiders didn't make a move. I thought those were 3 teams that I really thought were either going to sell or try to improve the team, and they all kind of stood pat. So it was a little surprising. I understand the Jets needed offensive linemen, but they don't grow on trees, and no team ever wants to get rid of one. So they did sign Roger Saffold III, who was really good up with the Rams. They got to fill in somewhere, So
yeah, I think with the Raiders standing pat, in my heart, I knew that they weren't moving anybody. The only person that I'm surprised that they didn't move was Hunter Renfrow, because there's been so much smoke around him. Just from the beginning of the year with him and McDaniels just are not on the same page at all. And I've noticed the past couple of games, they've been trying to use him more. And I thought that was more of a show the rest of the league, hey, Hunter Renfrow's still here, see what you can get out of him. But I think it all came down to McDaniels and Ziegler are trying to save their job, and the only way they're going to do that is by winning. And getting rid of somebody like Devontae Adams or Josh Jacobs is not going to help your cause. So I think that's where the Raiders' mindset was by not selling at the deadline.
I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see how they play moving forward, because obviously we'll get to the Raiders and the Lions game in a little bit here, but that was ugly. So let's kind of get right into the Week 8 review. We had Bucks Bills on Thursday night. This was pretty much a must-win game for the Bills at home after the upset that the Patriots gave them in Foxborough. And they did pretty much exactly what I thought they were going to do. They beat up the Bucks. The Bucks all of a sudden have kind of come back down to earth a little bit after starting off pretty hot. But it's the inconsistencies of Todd Bowles, the inconsistency of Baker Mayfield. It's just they need a real quarterback in there. They need a real head coach in there. They got pieces, but when you don't have the two main important parts of your team in place, you're not really going to win too many games or be consistent. So I thought the Bills took care of business, and that's about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bills came into this game knowing that they needed to win. Josh Allen looked pretty good in this game. Not a big game as far as you'd think, like you would have big stats from Diggs or somebody like that, but it was just a solid overall game. And the one trade we didn't talk about at the deadline, the Bills picked up Rasul Douglas from the
Packers, yeah.
From the Packers cornerback. So that helps their defense out a lot. So that shows me that they won this game, and now they're looking to make a push to solidify their defense. So we'll see with the Bills. They're always kind of Jekyll and Hyde, as we've said this year. So I don't know what to expect.
Well, that's it too, that they did sign Leonard Fournette to their practice squad. So could be, playoff Lenny could be coming at the right time to really make a difference in that run game, because James Cook has been nothing but disappointing. He's not a big bruiser back that everybody expected him to be, like his brother. I think the Bills live or die by their run game. Without their run game, you take, and we talk about it all the time. You double up Stephon Diggs, and he's, quietly having an okay year, but he's a diva and he's not performing at his peak of what we expect Stephon Diggs to perform at. So the Bills look weak and they're losing games in hilarious fashion. I don't look at the Bills as what I did last year when everybody was like, oh, they could win it all. I don't see it. I don't see them. I see them maybe creeping into the playoffs, luckily, and then getting dusted by a fucking Miami or KC or Cincinnati. They're not even in the same atmosphere anymore. So,
yeah.
All right. Might as well get it over with. Jets Giants in MetLife. This was one of the worst football games I've ever watched in my existence. 6 offensive linemen for the Jet. Was it 6 that got hurt, or like 3 that got hurt, and they had 6 different ones?
I think there was 6 total injuries of the day.
6 total injuries on the day. 3 on the Jets side. Oh, no, it was 4 on the Jets side, 2 on the Giants side. The turf in MetLife continues to be a ridiculous issue.
Just come on, they got to do something with that, right?
I heard around North Jersey there's a petition to demolish the toilet bowl and just mulligan, start over.
I mean, the owners might feel the pressure from the NFLPA, especially if Rodgers is really going to voice concerns over the field. But this was just an awful game. I mean, the Giants were completely otherworldly pitiful on offense.
Zack, I don't want to cut you off, but you'll enjoy this. As much as we argued about this, I do have to agree this was the worst coaching job I've ever seen. Brian Daboll had cost this game, and it's glaring weakness in the coaching right now. And like you said in the chat, Wink Martindale's the only coach really doing his job. I don't understand what happened with the offensive scheming. I mean, that overtime where you run the same play 3 fucking times in a row for negative yards
they were running a high school offense when Tyrod Taylor went down. Like Tommy DeVito was the backup, he's so bad that they refused to let him throw the ball. So if you have a quarterback on your roster that you do not trust to throw the ball, why is he on your roster? And Tyrod Taylor went down with a pretty serious rib injury that had him go to the hospital because they were worried about his fucking lungs again. And Saquon Barkley put the cape on and almost won this game for the Giants, because the Giants defense that for the third week in a row has held their opponents to less than 14 points. Kayvon Thibodeau had his breakout game, had 3.5 sacks on Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Dexter,
Kayvon proved in that game alone why he is the guy he was supposed to be. He's becoming the defensive player that he was drafted to be and was touted to be. So
third in the NFL in sacks. He has more sacks than Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt. He has more sacks than all those guys, and no one's really talking about him too much. Dexter Lawrence tied JJ Watt's record for the most pressures in a single game by a defensive lineman since 2006. I mean, there are foundation pieces on the Giants defense between Kayvon, Dexter Lawrence, Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, Banks, Pinnock. Like, the defense will be the strength of the Giants going forward and into next year. But holy fucking hell on God's creation is the offense the exact opposite. I mean,
there's just nothing there. Who are you
there's
throwing
nothing
the ball
there.
to? Paris Campbell is the biggest waste of a signing I've ever seen in my life. The guy is non-existent. There's going to be Giants fans out there that just go, who are you talking about? Paris Campbell? That guy?
Like, this was supposed to be our punt returner, like, slot guy.
They signed that kid from Pittsburgh to be the punt returner for the game because there's just nothing there.
There's nothing there. They have nothing. They have nothing on offense. And it came down to what team was going to make the mistake that would lose the game. And the Giants were the team that made the mistake. The Jets capitalized with 24 seconds, were able to clock the ball with a second left because Daboll
illegally.
That's, I don't know about illegally. The ref touched it and okayed it. So,
Boomer Esiason said it was illegal. Boomer's God.
The game was just ugly all around. The weather was ugly. There was 24 punts in that game. 24. Yeah. Thomas Morstead was the MVP of that game. A punter. Just terrible.
Tommy Morstead put the cape on and said, guys, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, he needs a new leg right now. 36 carries by Saquon. I mean, just an ugly game, but shout out to you, Dano. I had your back on this. I called it. Jets were going to take the dub in JetLife Stadium. The only promising thing that came out of this was we're getting a little closer to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to play this year.
And the Giants are getting closer to Caleb.
And if the Jets keep squeaking out wins like this, I mean, as ugly as they are, a win's a win, right?
So a win's a win. The only thing, I guess, a lot of things that I guess you can consider, I was talking to Nick about this on Sunday too, is, is this sustainable for the Jets? Like, their schedule is going to get pretty tough here. They have to be around 500 for Aaron Rodgers to come back and make it worth it.
Yeah, he said it today on McAfee that they have to have a shot at least. They have to be alive, sort of.
They have to be in the race. They have to be alive. They're playing the Chargers, who just destroyed the Bears. I mean, Herbert just annihilated the Bears, but the Bears are really bad.
The Bears are fucking terrible. So yeah,
the Bears are terrible. So that should honestly be a good Monday Night Football game. Watching that game, it was just ugly. It was disgusting. Obviously, as a Giants fan, we're completely and totally disgusted with our head coach, who is turning out to be a fraud in front of our eyes. And if it wasn't for him being an incompetent coach, we'd be 4-4. I mean, think about that. We'd be 4-4 with the no talent that we have on offense, but because the defense has been that good for the Giants this year, and he's just awful. He's awful. Wink Martindale is not awful, but everyone on the offensive side of the ball should be fucking fired and trashed and gone. And I'm not in the mood to yell about it anymore. Like, it's just funny at this point. And, congratulations on the Jets for, I guess, taking the win that the Giants handed them. Take that dub and hopefully make the playoffs, end the playoff drought, and do something with it.
I mean, it's hard because I want to believe in Daboll. Like, I am a Daboll, whatever you call it. Like, I'm in the cult. I'm still in on Daboll. I'm not turning my back on Daboll. I still think he's a great coach. But at this point, would you look at the trajectory of the Giants season? Like, what do you want what do we want out of them? If I don't want a good coach right now, I want them to lose the rest of the season. I want them to position themselves in the draft high so that we can effectively rebuild this team and get to a point of like competitiveness. I kind of wish Joe Shane sold off a lot more today. Like the fact that Odori Jackson is still a Giant right now is a shame.
There was no interest. In all fairness, there was no interest. He's been hurt this year,
it
and he
just
was
sucks
due a lot of
because
money.
I wish you could have gotten rid of him, and not because of his playing ability, but to get more capital. So I don't want Dable, I don't want to sit here and beat up Dable for the rest of the year because he's a bad coach. But I don't want to win another game. I wanted to suck the rest of the year. So now you have the tale of two tapes. Bad coach. How do you be a good coach and lose out and get yourself in the position to rebuild?
That's true. I mean, it's just after last year, our expectations were totally different.
But
And
it was false. It was fake
totally
expectations
false.
because it was such a overhyped team, and they pulled together. They literally just they polished a turd, and we were all like, "Oh, great! Look at this. We can win." No, it's been shit. It's been shit.
I mean, it's actually kind of insane that this team was one game away from the NFC Championship last year.
Insanity.
Like, it is a little crazy to think that just a few months ago, they were one game away from the NFC Championship. Like, that is a little mind-boggling considering they are literally a bottom 5 team in this league now. Listen, it sucks. We're looking towards draft day again. They're probably going to take a quarterback. It'll probably be a quarterback that I don't want them to take. And they're going to they're going to take Drake May, and I'm going to jump off the roof of my house. And that's just the way it's going to be.
I'm gonna get out there on draft day, on draft night, and I'm gonna have my Giants shit on, and then they're gonna draft Drake May, and I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna put it back in the closet, and then I'm gonna go 2025. Here we come.
And you know what? I think the reason why they had no interest in trading Saquon is because I think they know they're going to get a quarterback, and whatever quarterback they do get, they want Saquon behind them. And I think that's why they didn't trade him. I think that's why they're going to re-sign him. And at the very least, they're going to franchise tag him again. But I think they sign him to a new deal. I think they're going to give him like a $9 million a year deal.
Maybe we're in Kirk Cousins territory.
They're not going to sign Kirk Cousins. That's not happening.
Not coming off an Achilles either.
Listen, I do not want Drake May. I either want Caleb Williams or I want Michael Penix Jr. If you are not in a position to get any of those guys, then take a lineman or take a wide receiver or something on the offensive side of the ball to get us to start scoring some points. Or
receiver,
or take another pass rusher.
Wide receiver? Can we get a wide receiver?
Yeah, I'd like a wide receiver.
Marvin Jr.
If you're there, take him. Take him. Honestly, like if you're gonna be in a
I'd rather Marvin Harrison Jr. than Drake May.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's got to go in order like this. Caleb has to be at the top right now, or Penix. I'm not even going to debate that right now. It's Caleb or Penix, Marvin Harrison Jr. And after you get past those two, right, or three, let's call it three, you need to draft linemen. You need to build that line some way, somehow, because I don't care if you put a fucking reincarnated Peyton Manning ghost in quarterback. It's not going to work with what you're rolling out there right now. So you need to address it the right way.
Yeah. Just a lot of changes need to happen in East Rutherford. Let's move on. Jaguars, Steelers. Jaguars went into Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett got hurt in this game, left the game early. Jaguars went in and they won again. They're 6-2 right now. Jaguars look impressive. They look primed to make a pretty serious run in the AFC. Trevor Lawrence was okay. He didn't have a great game. The Steelers defense is good. Trevor Lawrence hasn't exactly had a great year. They're just playing just together. I think ETN is having a great year. I think their defense is bend but don't break. I think they're well coached. The Steelers, this was going to be a tough game for the Steelers no matter what. So yeah, I mean the Jaguars got the win in the Steel City.
Yeah, I think it's a big move that they did today, shoring up that offensive line. I think Trevor's playing hurt, so shoring up that offensive line, as we've seen. Yep, there you go. It changes the game. So you put that extra big body in there, let Trevor actually sit in the pocket a little bit and make those passes. Maybe he becomes what we expect him to be, especially with a little time to heal up and get better. But the Jaguars are very well coached, and Etienne is having an insane year. But the Jags are contenders, man. They're gonna make the playoffs, and they're gonna play. They're gonna play well. So it's honestly like it's about protecting Trevor and giving him time. If they can do that, then they are competitors.
And you know what? I'm talking about the Jaguars. They're 6-2 right now.
Very quiet, very quiet. And I know we've talked a lot about Trevor Lawrence. He's the glue on that team, right? So you got to keep him healthy. And when he's playing well, your team's going to do well. And having somebody like Etienne at running back having a phenomenal year very quietly. This Jaguars team is just very under the radar. And if Etienne keeps doing what he's doing and they just keep winning games like this, I mean, there's no reason why they can't be in the mix in the playoffs. On the Steelers side, Baby Hands is trash to begin with. Him going out of that game and then them having to go in with Trubisky. Trubisky at quarterback, you're never going to – game was over then. So – the Steelers they're a dumpster fire all around. Like this is going to be like we talk about Tomlin never putting out a losing product, but the Steelers, I mean, they're 4-3, but they easily can be well below that.
If Tomlin wasn't their coach, they'd be like 2-6.
Yeah. If any wins, they just on all sides of the ball, they
have a strong defense. They have a strong defense, but on offense, they're just abysmal.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Canada is one of the worst coordinators out there right now.
With his burner account.
Yeah, good Lord.
Fire Canada.
Oh, trust me, every Steelers fan I know wants him gone. So.
Also, I just want to bring up the disrespect that the Jaguars showed the Pittsburgh faithful by ripping out the fucking terrible towels.
Oh, that was so rude.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah.
It was rude.
I think they scored a touchdown or something, and they went around ripping the terrible towels out of people's hands in the front row and just swinging them around and just slopping them into the ground.
Another storyline in that game was multiple Pittsburgh Steelers players were calling out the refs, pretty much saying that the refs handed the game to the Jaguars with a bunch of examples to a lot of bad calls. So that just goes to show
refereeing has been abysmal.
Refereeing, the refereeing this year awful.
Can we just pay referees a full-time fucking salary so they're not plumbers and electricians on the side? And this is what they do, is they are an official for the biggest sporting league in the world. The NFL makes billions on billions of dollars every year. Why can't you have full-time officials that don't fuck up so many calls? I don't see why is that so hard? The concept of that is not out of left field to have a full-time referee.
Yeah, I mean the referees this year have just been completely atrocious. I mean, just atrocious in all aspects. Next, we had Eagles Commanders. Good game again. You know, Washington plays the Eagles tough, but the Eagles just pulled it out. I mean, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown's probably the best wide receiver in football right now, with Justin Jefferson, hurt, and Tyreek Hill playing really, really well too. But I mean, there's just the Eagles are a Hall of Fame team. I mean, they're throwing out a Hall of Fame team every single week, and they're just beating up on people. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches in Philadelphia. I'm surprised they've lost it all.
Even old man Julio's out there catching tuds.
Yeah, fucking 34-year-old Julio Jones caught a touchdown pass.
He's Julio's finally on a winning team. Like, wow, this is what it feels like, and he's like the fourth option.
Shout out to the Commanders for playing competitive, though. I know a couple of you guys said this last week that the Commanders going to play the Eagles tough, and they looked like they could pull it out. And I mean,
it's really weird.
We had the first tush push fail, right?
First push fail.
Fumbled at the goal line, but also I saw that they did they countered out of the tush push and gave it to DeAndre Swift. So now that they're starting to add in a new wrinkle to this play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, you might as well before it gets banned this offseason. So you might as well do whatever you can.
But how do you ban it? I mean, I don't understand. Like, I don't think you can necessarily ban
the push.
Of course you could ban it. Of course you could ban it. They're gonna call it, they'll still say player safety, and they'll show you the video of Brock Purdy getting his brain scrambled. And that's just what's gonna be.
And that wasn't even a tush push. That was
it doesn't matter.
Poorly quarterback sneaked the ball.
It does not matter. I'm telling you, I'm willing to put money on it. They're gonna ban it this offseason. It's gonna happen.
I agree with you, but I mean I was on the ban it too, but like I've said for the past few weeks,
I don't really care anymore, but it's just I know how the NFL thinks, so that's just what my prediction is.
No, 100%. But I like the fact that the Eagles are the only team that can actually do the play. So just for that reason, I'm all for keeping it now.
Anything to say, Ray?
The Eagles they're a great team, man. It's I think right now with the 49ers on a 3-loss skid, I think that the Eagles are the best team in the football right now, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with. It's going to be they're in there for the they're in there for the NFC side. I think they're clearly the road in the NFC is going to be them and the Niners to the Super Bowl, and I see they have so many options there. Like the only question I have with them is they got to figure out that running back room because the Kenny Gainwell experiment isn't working. Is it Boston Scott? Like you have DeAndre Swift, which he's clearly your guy. So what outside of that, what are you doing? That's my only question.
They need to learn how to stop the run. Like they've been run on all year.
Yeah.
So they need to shore that up.
Yeah, and there's the one running back that they haven't even gotten to yet this year. Rashad Penny's on that offense. He's on that roster, and
I totally forgotten
about it. Yeah. And
they went out of their way to sign him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't be shocked if later on, like in the dog days of the season, like week 14, 15, there's some Rashad Penny sightings because that guy always seems to creep up towards the end of a season and has a couple flash in the pan games where all of a sudden you're like, what do we do with this guy now? So just that the running back room there is deep to say the least.
Next, we had Rams Cowboys. The Cowboys beat the fucking shit out of the Rams.
How about the Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, I owe some Cowboys fans an apology. I mean, I still I hate
Wow.
I
Holy
hate your team, but god damn, they look good the other day, man. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, welcome back to the NFL. Um,
I said this a couple weeks ago that they were going to make it a point to feed him,
they
and
need
he
to.
is
They need to. It's
feasting right now.
clearly he's clearly the guy in the offense. And when Dak can't find CeeDee, they look like a high school team. But when they play the way they played so well through the air between Dak and the receivers, aka CeeDee Lamb, that Tony Pollard was useless. He didn't even have a
And
great
he's an
game.
afterthought this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tony Pollard, who we thought was going to be the focal point of the offense, is not the focal point of the offense.
No,
So
no. So yeah, I mean that just became a very, and especially now you have Sunday night, you have Cowboys Eagles in the afternoon slot, and all eyes on that game now. That's your, prediction forward game of the week right there, because after that show and then, Philly playing really well, that's going to tell a lot about the tail of the season going on right there. That's your NFC East winner between those two teams. I mean, the Giants and the Commanders aren't even a thought about winning the East. So now it's up to them, and who's going to take it, who might be a wild card Sunday. We'll see.
I mean, on the Rams side of the ball, Stafford getting hurt. That's the death blow to that team, because you're still without Kyron Williams, and now who's their backup? The,
Darrell Henderson, who Sean McVay absolutely loves.
no. They're the backup at quarterback, because
That's in Bennett, baby.
well, it was Brett Ripien. So
I mean, we talked about with a healthy Stafford, we've been raving the past few weeks about the triple threat of Cup, Nakua, and Tutu Atwell.
Cooper Kupp had 5 points this game. 5.
yeah, I mean Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua were
Non-existent.
fine.
And well, get used to it, because without Stafford, I foresee a lot of that. So
He'll play. I'm sure Stafford will play. That guy plays through everything.
Yeah, and they're saying that the injury isn't even that bad. It's like it was like a sprain. It could have been a lot worse, but he didn't break anything. Was it his throwing hand?
I'm honestly not too sure. He did like when he initially got injured, he came back into the game, and then like at a certain point in the game when it was out of hand, they just pulled him.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, look at Herbert, how he played with that thing on his hand the other day. That was
dude. He's been playing with that for a couple weeks now, and it just like one looks uncomfortable. It has to be painful, and
looks like ET out there throwing the ball. Yeah,
he has like a hook.
Yeah, so if any quarterback can get it done, even mediocrely, it's Matt Stafford. We've seen that guy play through a ton of injuries. Dude's a gangster. He all the credit in the world goes to him. He goes out there and just does what he has to do. So if it's his throwing hand, yeah, it gets a little interesting. The way the Rams seasons are going, I don't understand why you don't have Stetson Bennett out there seeing what you got. You mean you drafted the kid?
He's on leave, isn't he?
He's what?
Isn't he away from the team still? He stepped away.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was going.
I know he was NFI'd for like a week, but I don't know if he stepped away.
I thought he stepped away to focus on. He was having, I think it was alcohol issues or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah, his absence likely to stretch through the entire season.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Rookie quarterback isn't likely to rejoin the team this season after being placed on the reserve non-football injury list on September 13th.
Yeah.
Rescind all of what I just said then. Never mind.
So, I mean, with whoever the fuck is their backup, because this is a UCL sprain for Stafford in his throwing wrist. So what I'm reading is they're not ruling out a trip to the IR. So if Stafford goes on the IR, that's minimum 4 weeks. You might as well put a bullet in your season, because
pretty much
that's a wrap. All the triple threat we want with the wide receivers, it makes a big difference who's throwing the ball to you.
Next, we had Vikings Packers. Vikings got the win. Packers continue to be shit. Jordan Love is shit. But the big storyline, Kirk Cousins tearing his Achilles, and it was in Lambeau, so it was on natural grass. You know, Lambeau does it right over there. They got natural grass. Kirk Cousins is just he's an oldie, you know. He's getting up there. It was his last year in Minnesota. Sucks that his last year in Minnesota goes out like this. But the Vikings, like we said earlier, they traded for Josh Dobbs. They're going to throw out the rookie there. They're 4-4. They're very much in the race for a wild card spot in the NFC. You know, if Justin Jefferson comes back healthy, Addison's a beast. You know, they have no run game, but they're sitting at 4-4. You might as well keep seeing what you got. So
rumor has it that Kirk heard the Jets were going to trade for him today, so he went out and blew his Achilles out.
Oh, goodness.
that's terrible.
Never want to make light of someone's injury, and especially contract year for Captain Kirk. I love the guy, but he's 35 years old. He's not
no spring chicken.
We're not a spring chicken. We're
coming off a ridiculous year. Like, he was playing ridiculous football.
Yeah,
he was playing the best football of his career, honestly, and it is sad to see. Like, as much as, you know, again, me and Pete with the Derek Carr club, we're in the Kirk Cousins club too, and it's heartbreaking.
I'm in that club. I love Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. The guy deserves way better than that. He's just an overall.
Nothing not to love about the guy. I just think this creates a very interesting butterfly effect, because now you lose Kirk. Without Kirk, Justin Jefferson might not be necessarily inclined to want to rush back from his hamstring injury, which now I can see him sitting out all the way till their bye week, which I believe is week 12. So
they have a late one, yeah.
So I don't see, because everyone knows what Justin Jefferson is. He doesn't have to prove shit. So the only thing he has to do is get healthy. So I think this just creates an interesting domino effect. It effectively ends the Vikings' hopes of doing anything, because again, you're going to test out the rookie, and you just traded for Josh Dobbs. So it's not a good feel, not a good vibe out in Viking land. Is Justin Jefferson, he's a free agent after this year too?
I think he's got one more year.
He has one more year in his rookie deal.
Okay. So, I mean, I think this is just you're going to let him get healthy, and if you lose, you lose. And if anything,
you win.
Yeah, I don't think there's no harm, no foul on this. On the Green Bay side of the ball, Jordan Love, I've been making the excuse that this is like his rookie year. They
can't do it anymore.
No, this is going to be a one and done for him, because he is going to be on a different team next year for sure, and he's going to be fighting
next year, bro. He's not even on a different team. He's going to be on a bench.
He's going to be competing for a backup job somewhere.
Exactly.
What a horrible pick. What a horrible pick by the Packers.
But again, this just goes to show, I mean, on the Green Bay side, you're not always looking at the grass isn't always greener.
Nope.
And they essentially pushed out Rodgers because they had Jordan Love sitting behind him, and it's clearly not working out. Their run game is next to nothing. It's non-existent.
That's another team that I'm gonna have to worry about fucking losing as many games as the Giants because they're gonna take a quarterback too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they listen. They ran out. They ran out of gas. Aaron Jones, the gas tank's empty. AJ Dillon is a beast, but he forgot how to play football this year. And Jordan Love, I've been saying it all year. The dude sucks, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Green Bay, welcome to the pit of misery. Dilly dilly. It's over. It's over.
Yeah. I mean, they already went into sell mode. They shipped off Rasul Douglas. So I mean, they're they're looking forward to next year. So
That's where Drake May ends up. Green Bay.
ugh, terrible. Next, we have Falcons Titans. Tale of two quarterbacks. Will Levis with a monstrous debut of 4 total touchdowns, showing off the ridiculous howitzer of an arm that he had.
man,
Still don't know why he fell to the second. I didn't think he was better than, the other quarterbacks that were taken above him. But I didn't think he was a second round talent. I thought he would go like in the middle of the first. I don't know if it was accuracy concerns. I don't know if it was character concerns. I don't know what it really was that made him slide all the way to the second round. But this guy clearly looks like he was the best quarterback on the roster the whole time.
let's just call it what it is. The dude puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Every team in the NFL was like, this guy is a fucking serial killer. He has dead bodies stacked up under his fucking house somewhere. That's the only reason why he slid, because Sunday.
So character concerns.
Yeah, just
And that's
DeAndre
actually what it
Hopkins was just having a field day. Just thank you. What have you guys been doing? That's what he was saying, because Ryan Tannehill, good luck, buddy, in your future endeavors, because the Will Levis the card has just punched in, and I do not see, even when Tannehill's healthy, I do not see a change being made.
This is it. This is it.
Yeah, the Tannehill era in Tennessee is over. And Will Levis, rewind the clocks, go back to some past podcasts. Told you. The dude, when you get compared to Josh Allen in the draft, man, that's a big comparison. I mean, not Josh Allen of this year, Josh Allen of past years, but he has a monster arm. And when you have a guy like D-Hop, right? And we know, D-Hop is not the same D-Hop of years past, but on Sunday, he pretty fucking looked like it. And it's amazing to me. There's a telltale sign when you take a team as bad as the Titans have been all year, right? And you insert, I actually love what they did with the Levis Malik Willis combo, because Malik Willis looks like a usable player in that offense right now. You mix him in a little bit, but the telltale sign of Sunday was when you take Will Levis, who never started an NFL game, he didn't even play all year, and plug him in, and Tennessee has an offensive explosion where guys are playing. Like, D-Hop stats were off the charts on Sunday. That to me says something was going on there. You don't just have games like this. You don't. And for Tennessee to come out of the chute and just play football like that, interesting. Very interesting to see.
Yeah. And on the other side, Ritter got benched for Taylor Heineke because Ritter just
finally
out time.
Finally, we have been calling for this since we were doing the preseason quarterback rankings. Thank goodness.
And Arthur Smith, can we just say how much of a clown Arthur Smith is? I mean, this guy is so horrible.
It's Halloween for him every day. He should be coming out with a wig and nose.
Yeah, because to misuse Bijan Robinson the way he is, and then to have that stupid, ridiculous trick play that he tried to do.
He had Jonnu Smith throwing the fucking ball, and he had Kyle Pitts blocking. Like,
he should be brought out back and put out of his misery. I mean, it's just that bad.
boom.
Yeah. So Titans got a big win at home in Will Levis's debut. Next was Patriots versus Dolphins. I really don't got much to say with this one. I mean, Tua is undefeated against Bill Belichick, beats him again, 6-0. Tyreek Hill continues on his ridiculous tear, is over 1,000 yards receiving after 8 weeks of a regular season. Tua continues to be really, really good with Mike McDaniel. I don't really got much to say. The Patriots suck. Dolphins are good.
Fins up. That's it. That's it. Tyreek Hill is, I'm gonna say, the front runner right now for MVP.
He won't get it.
I mean, he's got over 1,000 right now.
He's gonna get Offensive Player of the Year.
He might win MVP.
If he, all right, hypothetically speaking, he throws up a 2K spot.
I think it's hard. I think it's the way. Who else do you even put in that conversation right now? Mahomes is having a mediocre year. Kelsey,
mediocre year for Mahomes.
Tight ends don't win MVP. Who else is even in the conversation?
In the conversation to me right now,
Tua,
Tyreek, maybe Jalen. Even AJ Brown is having a pretty fucking awesome year.
Lamar Jackson.
Outside of the Ravens have to win more, but I would say my top 4 are Tyreek, Tua, Mahomes, and it's probably going to be another quarterback, so I'll say Lamar. That would be my top 4 right now.
And I think Tyreek is in the clear lead.
That's my opinion too, but it's hard to unseat a quarterback from.
Yeah, he has to have 2,000 yards. If he has 2,000 yards receiving, they'll give it to him.
He's gonna.
And you know what? He's gonna retire when his contract's over too.
And be a porn star. We said we were going to talk about it.
And be a porn star. So this shout out to Mike Rizzo here. This is your 30 seconds of fame that we'll talk about. Tyreek Hill just dropping it all and being a bang bro. What?
Legend.
That's real life. He's serious.
He's very serious.
And he's gonna sell. It's go for him.
Oh my God. He'd be the biggest signing in pornography history.
Oh,
the cheetah.
Move over Johnny Sins. Here comes the cheetah.
The cheetah.
All right. I'm ending this now. Let's move on. We had Saints Colts. Pretty blah game. I mean, the Saints got the win. Gardner Minshew is quarterback in the Colts right now. Taylor had a great game. But it's just, this game is just boring. I mean, how boring can you get?
All right. So I just 2 things in this. Again, I am going to just harp all over. Gardner Minshew is horrible. He is a terrible starting quarterback. He just all around decision making, and I'm holding my mask on right now because I was losing my mind. At halftime, Jonathan Taylor had 12 carries or 9 carries, 95 yards at halftime. He ended the game with either whatever the carries were and the same yards. He didn't get another carry the rest of the game. What are you doing in Indianapolis? He is clearly, I know that you guys are infatuated with Zack Moss. Jonathan Taylor is head and shoulders above anything they have on that team. So the fact that he didn't get any carry the rest of the way boggles my mind. They deserve to lose that game. Going to NOLA. Derek Carr and Chris Olave, they need to go to Friendlies or Baskin Robbin or the Dairy Queen and go get an ice cream together and hash out whatever it is that they got going on, because they have zero chemistry.
No chemistry.
There was a ball
He doesn't like Olave.
doinked off of Olave's dome piece, just bonk. Clear as day would have been 6. Olave looks like he doesn't want to play with Carr.
You know what? I don't even care about that, because my man Rashid Shaheed, that chemistry is, they are locked in, bro. Derek Carr and Rashid Shaheed are like this. The dude is outshining. Move over. Sorry, Chris Olave, you're now the third option. It is the Michael Thomas Rashid Shaheed show in New Orleans. Sorry.
And you know what? Olave might be just a problem. I mean, the dude just got arrested for reckless driving. You know, like
seems like a dick.
Yeah, he might just be an asshole.
Yeah, it goes back to the other week when Carr was losing his fucking mind.
Oh yeah.
Think about how many bad players, as you as a Raiders fan know this. How many bad players has that dude, like Jacoby Myers? You never saw Derek Carr flipping out on Jacoby Myers. So that to me says something.
Well, because they didn't play together. We didn't have Jacoby Myers with Carr. So no. No. But
who am I thinking of then? Who is the
Derek Carr has dealt with the likes of Antonio Brown. Derek Carr has dealt with so many other wide receivers. I've never seen him lose his shit the way he did with Chris Olave.
I think Olave's an ass. That's just me.
And Dennis Allen, again, is a terrible head coach.
Yep. Horrendous. Next, we had Texans-Panthers, the number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick. CJ Stroud and Texans coming out of their bye, going into Carolina. The Panthers got their first win. This was a low-scoring, ugly-ass game. CJ Stroud looked rusty coming off the bye. And Bryce Young and the Panthers got their first win of the year. So
for the first time this year, Stroud looked like a rookie.
Yeah.
He which was shocking coming off the bye. He just struggled to get anything going. That Texans team looked very.
They didn't look ready off. They didn't look ready off the bye.
Yeah, which is shame on.
Shame on you, D'Amico.
Yeah. D'Amico needs to prep his team a little bit better, but hopefully they bounce back after getting back in the rhythm. Good on the Carolina Panthers there. They effectively hurt.
They need to win. They need to hurt that Bears draft pick status.
Yeah,
they have to win.
That's what I was getting at.
So we'll see. I mean, because if they win more and the Giants lose more, give me that number 2 pick. Next, we had the Browns and Seahawks. The Deshaun Watson saga continues to be a major distraction in Cleveland. And the Seahawks in Seattle with Geno got it done, rocking those amazing-ass throwbacks for that game. They are 6-2 in first place in the NFC West. And the Browns took a big loss. Hopefully Deshaun Watson can come back soon for them. But the Seahawks are quietly having a good year.
Hot take, those uniforms, trash.
I didn't see them, so
I like them a lot. I like their retros. I do.
This is the old school ones. I
like those.
It brings me back to that 90s football vibe. I can get
that's the Boz uniforms, bro. How do you not like the Boz?
It's the Boz uniform, but you know what Seattle's not playing like? The 90s teams. Seattle's the run game seems non-existent there. It's Kenneth Walker, and then when Kenneth Walker doesn't have a good day, it's non-existent.
I mean, they had a Tyler Lockett sighting. Thanks,
Tyler. Shout out. Listened.
Yeah, he listened to the podcast and was like, "Oh shit." they're
Calling me
they're
out.
they're calling me out, so I gotta show up. But this was finally his first sighting of the year. I mean, the fact that they only have 2 losses in Seattle is it's pretty impressive. That when you said their record, I was not like that took they're again another team that's under the radar right now. Like,
Well,
are
because
they
I don't think anyone thinks that they could really win. They just have to be.
I'm just gonna get at that. Are they really in the conversation? No. But
I don't think they're contenders, but they're 6-2 for a reason. So I don't know. Next, we had the Bengals 49ers. I thought this was going to be a really good game. 49ers dropped their third in a row. Joe Burrow is all the way back, totally healthy. Was dropping darts and dimes everywhere, like we know Joe Burrow does, and picked apart one of the best defenses in football. So Joe Burrow just kind of reminded everybody why he's the second best quarterback in football. So,
Yeah,
and
Joe Burrow.
that's why you tank to get someone like that
Yeah,
to make sure you're good for the next 15 years.
yeah, yeah. Joe Burrow came out and proved why he's that guy. I mean, he's fully healthy, steps in the pocket, stays in the steps up, and became that most accurate passer again. Absolutely, he's back with him and Chase are back on the same page. He's got his weapons out there, and he's just doing his thing. Joe Mixon, welcome back to the NFL. Had a Joe Mixon day.
About time.
That team is clicking on all cylinders. And honestly, good for the Bengals because now is the right time to do it. And then to gain the confidence of knocking off the 49ers at home, it's good for them. They have a nice, juicy Sunday night matchup against the Bills now where you could really put a hurting on the Bills season and make a statement in the AFC as to why you are you still are the kings of the AFC and want that rematch with KC. Here's how you make that statement right now. And I really don't see any weaknesses in Cincinnati right now. A healthy Joe Burrow is a dangerous Bengals team, and they are primed and ready to go. So as for the 49ers, we talked about it a lot before with the trade deadline. Their defense, yeah, absolutely scary. Can defense win championships? We've seen a couple, but I don't think in this era of football, a defense can win a championship. I think when you have guys on the other side, like a Joe Burrow and, a Patty Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, I think they can, on their good days, I think they can knock off an elite defense. So we'll see.
I disagree with that, Raymond, right there. Defenses can absolutely win a ship, but don't sleep on the 49ers offense. I mean, they're missing Debo Samuel and Purdy. I apologize. I'm going to on record. I apologize because as soon as I traded for Brock Purdy, it's my fantasy football quarterback. He has had the most interceptions of his career ever. He's had the most losses. He had a concussion.
Oh, it's your fault.
It's 100%. Pittsburgh Feelers have just taken him to the bottom. But you know who's not at the bottom?
Me.
The cheat code, Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
Just tut it up. I think we might be at like $1 billion right now if we just rolled his anytime TUD bets over. The guy,
it's like free money. Vegas is trying to do everything they can to make sure it's not free money anymore. They're putting it at like minus 250 now.
Yeah, he is the closest thing to an automatic lock that this league has ever seen. I've said it for weeks now. He is the best player on the planet.
Easily.
When he's healthy. Again, the 49ers going out and getting Chase Young is just only going to make that team way better. I look for the Niners to use this bye week and get right. And when they come back week 10, it is going to be some scary shit. That's all I got with that. I think Burrow, they're cool and all right now, but is it's not going to be there when it matters the most. So,
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. This guy only went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Interesting. But I'm really glad that you brought up fantasy because we haven't really talked too much about that. Yours truly is undefeated against the old guard this year. You hate to see it. Beat this guy, and I beat the guy who's not here. Love
Yeah, we're having a tough skid these past few years. All right,
you're block him.
You're battling against prior champions here.
Listen, I'm a prior champion. That don't matter.
All right, keep moving. Hit
Let's
the
move
button. Hit the button.
I'm not a prior champion.
Negative points.
Man, that really sucks. Hold on a second. Here, let's just keep this right here for this next segment. Let's see. We had Chiefs Broncos in Denver.
Surprise of the year.
Surprise of the year.
I mean, if you looked at Mahomes pregame, you knew just by looking at him that his flu game was not going to be the Jordan flu game. Also, no. Taylor Swift was not in attendance, and it showed.
I mean, who would want to play there? You're a mile in the atmosphere. It snows on the ground. It's cold as shit. Thanks. The Chiefs showed up and went, nah, listen, let's get this over with.
First time in 16 meetings that the Broncos got a dub on a Patty Mahomes KC team.
Yeah, great. That's terrible. The last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs, Peyton Manning was their quarterback.
A wild stat.
It is a wild stat. I just think Mahomes was sick. Chiefs looked out of sorts. Broncos, they were like, "Oh yay, we finally won! Woohoo!" I mean, Broncos fucking. Yeah, Broncos. I don't fucking care about the Broncos. Broncos. We suck.
Russell Wilson is quietly having a pretty good season, but it's more of a.
It's the worst good. You know what? He's having the. Yeah, he's having the worst good season I've ever had I've ever seen from a quarterback. His stats are good, but it's not leading to wins.
And it's worth noting that they're a team we didn't talk about today either. How Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy are still Broncos right now is very surprising.
That's true. I forgot about that.
And I mean, Garrett Bowles, like they have good players on that team that did not even have their names whispered today. Very, very interesting. What's going on there? What's the plan? Like, what is your plan moving forward? Because
I don't know, but it's a dumpster fire. At least I know my team's fucking selling and tanking.
The only bright spot on that team on the offense, I would say, Javonte Williams is having a pretty good. He's finally hitting his stride after coming back from the ACL tear. So, I like what he's gonna do the rest of the way. But other than that, I have zero interest in Denver football. I just chalked this up to the flu game. No one wanted to be in fucking Denver, and that's it.
There was tissues on the side. Everyone was blowing their noses. They were just not interested. Next was the Ravens versus the Cardinals. This was the last game played by Joshua Dobbs as a member of the Cardinals. The Ravens got the win. Pretty straightforward. I mean, the Cardinals suck. The Ravens just are about coming off a big win against Detroit, and they followed up with another win in Arizona. They look like they're in the driver's seat to win the AFC North. OBJ, though, man, there's just nothing left. There's nothing there anymore. I mean, 19 million.
He needs to go be a family man.
Yeah, $19 million for that guy. Good Lord.
Yeah, and he's back to abusing equipment on the sideline, too.
Yeah, it's just he had 4 or 5 years, and then injuries just ruined it.
Injuries piled up. That was it. He was a highlight reel for a short time, and you can't look past that. But he's an attitude. He's washed now. So other than that, I shout out to the Arizona Cardinals for listening to this podcast, because as I called to get rid of all the Joshua Dobbs jerseys that they had, they finally will now since they traded them. So shout out to that. I mean, how about Joshua Dobbs getting traded twice in the same season, and actually
The reason why that dude is wanted around the
getting
league.
some run. Yeah, shout out to him and all that he brings to alopecia awareness.
And I'm the problem. I'm the
What
problem.
the hell?
I was shouting out. That was
Unnecessary.
there was no malice in that.
Unnecessary comment about alopecia. Okay. Unnecessary.
Shouting out the awareness. I
Yeah.
was not.
Hoping guys get temporary injuries. You're talking about disabilities. Jeez.
I know. Unbelievable over here.
A hair disability. Ray,
Listen.
your hair looks very nice this evening.
Thank you.
Next, we had Sunday Night Football, which was Bears Chargers. Not much really for me to analyze here. I mean, Justin Herbert and the Chargers just took apart a really bad Bears team. Tyson Banjit, looks like a backup. He is a backup. We don't know when Fields is coming back, but
next week.
Not next week is right. So it looks like the Nips are safe.
The count is
The same as it was last week and the week before that.
Yeah. So he's got to throw, if he came back after next week, he's got to throw for over 300 yards every game.
Terrible. Ain't happening.
Oh, I am going to pray on this tonight. Pray on this. So, I mean, the Chargers, they dominated as they should have. Shout out to Justin Herbert. We mentioned it before, playing with the claw in his left hand. That thing is ugly looking, and every time he gets hit, you wince, because I'm just thinking he's gonna plant that hand, it's gonna explode. It has to be painful. He took a shot during this game where I thought his ribs were just gonna come out his back. That's how hard he got hit, and there was no flag on the play. In a quarterback safe league like it's become, it was very shocking to not see the yellow laundry come out. But I mean, Chargers, they got to win against a much, much weaker opponent. Teabag was exposed for the fraud that he was, and not against a Pop Warner team like the Raiders were when they played him. So
Not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. The Bears are a bad team. Chargers are a fraudulent team. This win shows absolutely nothing. They're the worst coached team in the league. Brandon Staley is the second worst coach in the league. That was the battle. That game had no business being the Sunday night game. It was absolutely dog shit. I don't think half of America even watched it because they went, "This is garbage." I gave it very little attention. There's nothing to see there.
Not good.
Yeah.
All right. Monday night.
Thank you, Justin Fields, for sitting on the sideline looking like a bum.
Okay, Raiders Lions Monday Night Football. It was a disaster for the
Enjoy
Raiders.
this, Pete.
The Lions pretty much handed them a big ass whooping. The Raiders did not complete a pass to a wide receiver in the entire first half. Jimmy G probably played the worst game of his entire career. Josh McDaniels continues to be a dumpster fire. Dan Campbell's boys over there in Detroit look primed to win the NFC North. I'll let our resident Raider fan take over.
I need my face to be shown for this because the state of the Raiders is horrendous. And now I know, Zach, you've been talking about the Giants just need to tank and that's it, onward and upward. Even if the Raiders tanked, I do not have the confidence in this team that they will even be competent enough to make the moves to right the ship. Ownership needs to be accountable. Mark Davis needs to sell the team to somebody that can actually manage a team. Ziegler, RGM, what are you doing? Chase Young got traded for a 3rd-round pick, and you're sitting on your hands, not doing a damn thing. Josh McDaniels, the worst head coach in football. Again, like I said last week, all of football. I'm talking professional. I'm talking college. I am talking high school. I am talking Pee Wee Pop Warner, the worst head coach ever. The fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is continued to be paraded out there, and he is worse. He could be worse than Desmond Ridder. That's how bad he played. No pocket awareness.
He's just been bad all year. I mean, he leads the league in picks.
Zero pocket awareness, just doing Michael Flatley Lord of the Dance foot taps, running into defenders. No receptions to a wide receiver in the first half of football. Devontae Adams is your number 1 wide receiver, arguably one of the best wide receivers of all time, let alone currently in the league. And he had 0 receptions. Missed him on 2 plays that would have went for 6. One was would have been a 98-yard bomb, except Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing to the Gatorade containers. I'm done. I am done. We all had our eulogies about our teams this year. I'm skipping the eulogy and I'm just roasting this team. It is horrendous. Everyone should boycott the silver and black because there is no commitment to excellence. It's a commitment to failure. That's what we've committed to. And as long as Josh McDaniels is the head coach of this team, I expect nothing less. Shout out to what Dan Campbell and the Lions did to us. They should have won by more. The only reason why was Max Crosby in that defense is just keeping us competitive. Jahmyr Gibbs had the come-out game that we were all waiting on, and now Detroit has a week on the bye, and when they come back, I'm really interested to see what they do with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Do you let David Montgomery still be your bell cow?
He'll be the 3rd down and goal line back.
I find it hard to see them overlooking Jahmyr Gibbs from what we saw because he was a dual threat, catching the ball, running the ball with explosiveness. Sam Laporta exploded onto the scene this year. The future is very bright for Detroit. That's an unsung team that they're building momentum this year, and they're making believers out of a lot of people. Again, Las Vegas, what the fuck? I mean, we should be a lot better off than we are. Josh McDaniels took a playoff team and a top offense and just nosedived it. That's all I got. I mean, I can't give any more to this team. than I've given. And it's just an abomination. It's the words that I have.
Anything to add, Ray?
No, nope. That's Pete's show to do, and well done.
Excellent. All right, we're gonna move on to week 9. Our predictions for week 9. We got it's Thursday night football. Titans going into Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett will play. I don't know if he'll be 100%. I don't know what the plan is. If he can't go, I don't know if he'll play a couple snaps and then get hurt again. There's just a big question mark with Kenny right now. And I think the Titans and Will Levis got a hot hand right now. I think Will Levis has a big test in Pittsburgh against Joey Porter and TJ Watt and a Mike Tomlin and a hostile environment. I really want to see how he reacts. If Kenny Pickett was healthy and the team was healthy, I would pick the Steelers. I'm going to pick the Titans in this game because I'm just not sure what Kenny's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be healthy. He says he's going to play, but we've seen players say, I'm going to play, and then they don't play. So he could be hobbled. I'm not too sure, but Will Levis unlocks this Titans offense. And I think Will Levis is going to have his first real test, but I think he passes it. I'm going to go with the Titans.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Kenny Pickett shouldn't be playing. I think he should be on the IR. I mean,
I think he's hurt. Like his knee is
very hurt. This is the second game where he's come out of the game and hasn't come back in, and you keep marching back out there. I mean, listen, I'm all for keeping Mike Tomlin's record at never having a sub 500 team, but go put Trubisky out there and just get through the season. If you have a future with this kid, he's got to take some time and heal his body. Going and marching him back out there again just to get annihilated, it's not worth it. I think Will Levis is going to have a good test with the Pittsburgh defense. I think he meets Mr. TJ Watt, and yeah, it's going to be a tough day for him, but he's not going to have the day he had. But lock him in for 2 tuds, D-Hop one of them, and Titans all the way.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to go and say that Heinz Field, which is no longer Heinz Field, but will always be Heinz Field, is going to be Hellman's Field because the mayonnaise is going to be pouring, and Will Levis is going to walk in there and take a win.
Next, the first game in Germany, Frankfurt, right? Frankfurt, Germany. Dolphins, Chiefs. Hopefully there is no more flu for the Chiefs. This is a neutral place. There's no real home or away. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I think they have too much on offense. The Chiefs just have Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but the Dolphins defense has Jalen Ramsey back, and his first game back, he had a pick. So he completely changes the secondary for them. This is going to be a total shootout, but I'm going to take the Dolphins. I'm just going to shock everyone and take the Dolphins here.
I am actually taking the Dolphins as well.
In the spirit of German culture and Germany, let's go Delphines.
Next, we have Vikings, Falcons. Vikings are throwing out the rookie quarterback Hall out of BYU. So, with that being said, I'm going to take the Falcons at home here. I think they're the better team, even though Arthur Smith is a complete and total disaster. I don't know who the quarterback is going to be for the Falcons, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Falcons win at home.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a ground. It's going to be a ground game all the way. You're going to have 2 quarterbacks out there who aren't going to air the ball out. I think Bijan. This might be the Bijan breakout game as long as Arthur Smith keeps his clown nose off his face for the day. But it's just hard to pick the Vikings with everything that just happened. Losing Kirk. This kid Hall doesn't have the chemistry with Addison. It's just not going to look like the same team out there. So you gotta kind of lean on the Falcons regardless. And no matter what the Falcons put out there, they have a good running game. So the run leads the way. So Falcons.
My head tells me that the Falcons are gonna win this game, but I just feel like it's gonna be one of those games where they're facing adversity with Kirk down, and like we said, Arthur Smith is a giant clown. I'm gonna go with the Vikings on this one with the mentality of we're just gonna fucking go out there and see what happens. So Vikings.
The Chiefs Dolphins was my game of the week, by the way. Just wanted to make sure that was said. Next is my blowout of the week, and that's Bears versus Saints. The Bears just don't have anything going right now. I'm going to take the Saints. I think Derek Carr is going to have a big game at home against this horrible Chicago secondary.
Yeah, I also have the Saints. The Bears are just a bad team. That kid quarterback doesn't have a chance. He's just out there lost. There's nothing really they're playing with. DJ Moore is the highlight of the Bears offense. Outside of that, there's nothing else there. And this kid can't get more of the ball more than, any defense is going to lock DJ Moore away and it's over. So Saints in a blowout.
The Saints go marching in.
Next, we had Rams Packers in Lambeau. I don't know. Do we know if Matt Stafford's going to play?
Up in the air.
Up in the air. All right. Well, with him being up in the air, then I originally had, I'm still going to pick the Rams to win. Fuck it. I think the Packers are so bad. I don't think Jordan Love is going to do anything. I don't think this team is just going to do anything. I think even the Rams with a backup quarterback who has Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp to at least throw to, and just give the ball to Darrell Henderson 15 times a game. I think the Rams somehow find a way to win this game.
I agree with you. I think the Packers are in roll over and die mode right now. If it was a different matchup, I'd be more inclined to bet against the Rams and a backup quarterback. Not in this case. I'm going Rams.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot bet on the Packers right now. They are atrocious. Jordan Love is a terrible quarterback, and the Rams just have too many good weapons available to them to bet on the Packers. So Rams all the way.
Next, we had Commanders versus Patriots. Commanders just went on a nice fire sale, so they go into Foxborough. I'll take the Patriots at home here. Commanders defense took a big blow by trading away their two best defensive players. Their offense will probably stay the same, but this is a game that I think the Patriots will win.
With you. I'm gonna take Pats at home.
I'm actually going to take the Commanders on this one. I think the Mac Jones era is slowly coming to an end in Foxborough. I just don't trust them. I don't trust that offense. I think that the Patriots are a terrible team. They get weird, ugly wins. This could be one of those games. It's going to be an ugly game no matter what. They could eke it out, but I do think that Washington plays weird against certain teams. They play up to Philly all the time, and that offense was able to take Philly's defense and almost put 30 points up on them. So it's not out of the realm to see them beat up on the Patriots. So I'm going to pick the Commanders here.
All right. Next, we have Seahawks versus Ravens in Baltimore. I'm going to take the Ravens. They've looked really good the last couple of weeks. I think with the Seahawks flying all the way across the country to play in Baltimore, I think it's going to be a little bit tough. I see the Ravens winning this game in a shootout.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm going to back the Ravens on this one too. I'm very disappointed to not see Derrick Henry in purple and black right now. But I think the Ravens are clicking. Lamar is playing pretty decent football. ever since we talked shit about him that one day about him playing, bad football when he gets panicked, he's been playing at an elite level. So shout out to Lamar and Ravens.
Yeah, shout out to Lamar for listening. We appreciate it. Baltimore Ravens take this.
Next, we have Bucks versus the Texans in Houston. I'm going to take the Texans. I'm just not a believer in the Bucks whatsoever. They're way too inconsistent for my liking. Baker Mayfield, Todd Bowles, just way too inconsistent. The whole team of the Bucks is just mediocre. I mean, Mike Evans is going to go get paid somewhere else, and just not a fan of what's going on down there. Love what's going on in Houston. I think they bounce back after a rough game against Carolina, and I got the Texans.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryans is a good coach. Todd Bowles is a terrible coach, and I think the Texans make the corrections they need to, and they shake the rust off after a bye week. They come back and I think they come back and put a show on. I think Dameon Pierce reemerges from the shadows, pounds that football pretty well, gives CJ Stroud some options to air it out, and they go get it.
Yeah, I'm going Texans on this one. Look for a Tank Dell sighting in this one.
All right. Next, we had Cardinals Browns. Cardinals are probably going to start the rookie Clayton Tune. So I'm going to take the Browns at home with even with PJ Walker at the helm. I think the Browns are going to beat the Cardinals pretty easily.
I'm going on record right now. If it's not Kyler, because they haven't announced it yet, right?
No.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on this one, and just letting it be known, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, that Clayton Tune is a dog. Watch for it. He is going to be my fantasy sleeper of the week.
Good Lord.
Wow.
What a prediction that is.
Wow. Bold.
No.
That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
Wow. Interesting. Who'd you pick, Ray?
I'm still shocked. I need to recuperate after that one. What two teams?
Cardinals, Browns.
Jesus. I'm picking the Browns, man. The Cardinals don't stand a chance here. Even the Browns are just dinged up everywhere. They're dinged up at quarterback. They're dinged up at running back. Everybody's hurt. They just lost DPJ, but the Cardinals are a bad team, and
they're bad.
If Kyler plays, maybe the Cardinals stand a chance. But
we just don't know. So
I don't even know. As of right now, this very second, on Tuesday night, I am picking the Browns.
All right, we have Colts Panthers. Just not liking what I'm seeing from the Colts. I'm going to take the Panthers, getting their second win in a row at home. I'm sure the Colts will run the ball heavily again with Jonathan Taylor, but I'm going to take the Panthers.
I'm going.
This is my blowout of the week. I am going. Colts put up points every single week, and the Panthers are a terrible, terrible team. They're going to give up a ton of points in this. Jonathan Taylor, give him the fucking ball. Give him the ball.
Pete, I can promise you it's going to happen because I'm going to play Zach Moss because he's been sitting on my bench just eking points out every week. So now that he's going to be in my lineup, Jonathan Taylor will have the greatest game of all time and Zach Moss will have none. So
the explosion game, ladies and gentlemen. Jonathan Taylor owners, deploy him immediately.
Deploy him immediately. All right. Next, we have the Giants versus the Raiders in Las Vegas. This is my upset of the week because it'd be no fun if I were to pick Pete's team over mine in a friendly matchup here. But I also really think the Giants are going to win this game. I think with Daniel Jones coming back, these are two teams of just shit. Even though I'm not a fan of Brian Daboll and he deserves a lot of hatred this year, He's probably not as bad as Josh McDaniels. Both teams have good defenses. So I just think the Giants win an ugly one in Las Vegas.
In my upset of the week, I also have the Giants winning. I mean, you heard it from Pete.
It's just such a this is like the kind of game they would win. Like just
exactly, but that's why it's my upset
this.
of the week, because
Yeah.
I'm going to be upset that they win.
Exactly.
It's just insanity, man. But the Raiders, both teams are a dumpster fire. We're living in the pit of misery here, and
Dilly.
Yeah, dilly. The Giants are just gonna run Saquon into the ground until his fucking legs fall off, and everybody's gonna be miserable. I got nothing left.
The battle of the beaten, the disgruntled running backs. I don't care. I'm not picking this one.
Wow. You
I
know
respect that. I respect that.
Listen, by default, just pick your team.
Well, I believe that
Yeah, you sold them
earlier
off.
in this season, this was a part of a bet that me and you had, Zach.
It is.
So, I mean, I got to go with the Raiders at home.
What is that bet, by the way, for the ladies and gentlemen at home?
It had to do with a Yankee game, I believe, and beers at a Yankee game.
Yes. Neither of us want to go to a Yankee game right now.
No. So, how about beers?
Beers is just fine. You know what? When you, me, and our Stephs hang out, if the Giants win, you buy me beers. If Raiders win, I'll buy you beers.
You got it. Boom, book it.
Boom. Next is the Cowboys Eagles big time division game in Philadelphia. The Cowboys have looked really good the last two games that they've played. This could be a really good game. I'm just not picking against the Eagles in Philadelphia. There's just too much talent all over Philly. I think they beat the Cowboys in a shootout.
Yep. In my game of the week, as mentioned before, the Eagles. In the two teams that I hate to hate, I love to hate. I hate the Cowboys way more. So I will never pick the Cowboys.
I'm the opposite. I hate the Eagles more.
I hate the Cowboys more, man. But yeah, it's in Philadelphia, so that right there gives you the edge. Can't pick against Philly and Philly.
This is my my game of the week, matchup of the week. I'm gonna go with also my upset of the week, and the Cowboys are gonna shock the Eagles at home. Cowboys are gonna win one on the road.
Next Sunday Night Football, Bills Bengals in Cincinnati. Should be an emotional game. First time these two are playing since the Damar Hamlin incident. But I'm gonna pick the Bengals. I think the Bengals are playing a whole lot better. I think Joe Burrow is better. I just like what the Bengals are doing right now more so than the Bills. I think the Bills are still pretenders in my eyes, so I'm gonna take the Bengals.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals as well.
Joe Burr.
Monday Night Football, Chargers Jets.
Fresh.
I was really back and forth with this because the Chargers offense is really good. They have a great quarterback in Herbert, but they have the second worst head coach in all of football. The Jets defense is top 3 elite, but they cannot score points with Zach Wilson at the helm. This was really hard for me to pick. You guys could go first. I
am standing up right now. I am putting my hand up forward and for the Danimal. I called it last week and I'm calling it again this week. The Jets pull out the dub and keep the season alive. We're gonna see at this game Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna do a little pregame warm up. He's gonna do a little run a little bit. He's gonna jog onto the field this week. Really get the juices flowing. Jet up.
Yeah, jet the fuck up, man. The Jets are gonna take this. Brandon Staley is the worst coach. He's one of the worst coaches ever, and Jets are going to take this one the Jets defense is going to lock it down.
All right, I'm gonna ride the wave. I originally had the Jets circled, so I'm gonna keep it this way. I'll take the Jets too. I think Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert will figure out a way to fuck this game up against an elite defense. So I'll go with the Jets moving to 5-3 on national TV. Fantasy players of the week.
Lamar Jackson.
For me, I got Cooper Kupp. I got a bounce back game for Cooper Kupp against the Packers, who just got rid of one of their corners, by the way.
I am gonna go, since I called out the blowout of the week. I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor with the smash spot this week.
The smash spot. Like it a lot. Sleeper. Do we have a sleeper in mind? I know you already said Clayton Tune is your sleeper because you're crazy.
He's a dog.
Dameon Pierce.
The same Dameon Pierce who's done fucking nothing all season. Do we finally expect a game from him?
Sure do.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't. So, because I have him in one of my leagues and he's atrocious. A sleeper. Let's see. Let's go down this list here. PJ Walker against the Cardinals. How about that?
Shout out.
About damn.
All right. I also just want to add one little thing as we wrap things up here.
Two.
The Rangers are 5-0 on this road trip that they just finished up. Rangers look damn good. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, let's pump the brakes. They don't look damn good. They look good.
I need to be excited about something this winter. Okay.
Listen, the Rangers are the New York Rangers. They like Jets fans around the country and or like Dano has experienced his whole life. The Rangers will do one thing to you and they will rip your heart out at the worst moments of your life. And you gotta expect it every year. I love to get excited about New York Ranger hockey, and I feel it coming. I feel it coming. But no, they do have a good team. They have a good squad. Alexis Lafreniere is playing like a first overall pick.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
I'll shout out the Dallas Mavericks 3-0. Looking pretty good to start the NBA season. And then also just throwing out T's and P's in the universe to that hockey player that got his throat slashed and passed away. That was some pretty terrible stuff to see on my X feed. I was not expecting that. Pretty crazy. That guy probably should be charged with manslaughter.
Yes. I'm gonna put my tin hat on and go. That guy is
he did that. Problem. He did that on purpose.
There's no reason for your skate to be that high in the air.
None.
He's the documented dirtiest player in that league. History of conduct violations.
Yeah. Reckless play. No room in the world for anything like that.
People call it an accident, right? People get in car accidents and get charged with reckless homicide.
Yeah, that was just so far over the line. That's all I got.
Rest in peace to him. And because of that league is now immediately adopting neck guards. And you know what? Maybe that should be brought over here, because if anything like that were to happen here, I mean, it would be.
It's already being talked about. NHL has highly recommended the use of neck guards. The EIHL is mandating them. It's definitely going to change the game of hockey for the immediate future.
But you know what? I'm fine with it, because that was the most gruesome thing I've ever seen.
In a world where every sport is focused on player safety, and I know hockey is the fucking toughest sport that there is. There's no reason why, if we can prevent something like that from happening.
That's one of the craziest sports tests we're gonna see in a long time. And
oh my god, it made my stomach curl. It was so horrible. It was
Yeah.
like out of a movie. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
So,
Yep.
and also shout out Matthew Perry. You will be missed.
Shout out Chandler Bing. Rest in peace, Chandler Bing, man. Also really sad.
Well, on a lighter note, so we don't end on death here. Shout out the 8-0 Air Force Falcons, 17th ranked in the nation.
Now I'm depressed.
Oh,
College football is a disgusting joke, and I hate the college football playoff rankings.
I hate
we,
all college football.
We could talk our half hour on that right now, but that's another night it's a conversation for another night.
Shout out. I've also finished my candy corn. This is the last candy corn of the season. So happy Halloween to everybody.
Thank God in 82 minutes that candy is put in the trash where it belongs and never seen for another year because it belongs in the trash.
You're trash.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will be back obviously next week. You know, maybe the Danimal can join us, and we'll kind of see what happens. But other than that, peace out, folks.
Uses.
Hoorah!